Have you ever wished you could just ask an AI a question and get a real-time answer from the web, complete with every single source? Well, today we're diving into Perplexity, an AI that's designed to be the ultimate research assistant. And I gotta warn you, it might just change the way you look for information forever. All right, so here's our game plan. First, we're gonna unpack the big problem Perplexity was built to solve. Then we'll get a proper introduction to this research assistant, pop the hood to see how it works, figure out when it's the right tool to use, and finally, look at what this all means for the future of finding answers. Okay, so before we jump into the solution, we really need to understand the problem. To get why a tool like Perplexity is such a big deal, you have to look at the challenge we all face every single day, just trying to find information that's both reliable and current. I mean, think about it. When you need to know something right now, what do? You probably turn to one of two places, right? And the thing is, each of those options comes with a pretty major downside. And this right here is the fundamental trade-off we've all been making. You've got Google on one side, which gives you this huge up-to-the-minute reading list. But then you have to do all the work of clicking, reading, and putting the pieces together. On the other side, you've got something like ChatGPT, which gives you this perfect, synthesized answer. But its knowledge is basically frozen in time, totally unaware of anything that's happened recently. So we're stuck in this weird, fragmented process, you know? We find ourselves jumping from a search engine to get current links, then we're copying and pasting stuff into a chatbot to get it to summarize it for us. We're trying to be the bridge between these two worlds. And honestly, getting one clear, trustworthy, up-to-date answer feels like a total chore. And that chore, that exact problem, is what Perplexity was built for. So let's finally meet the tool that's designed to be your all-in-one research assistant. So what is Perplexity exactly? Well, at its core, it's what you'd call an answer engine. But here's the magic trick. It doesn't just pull from some old static knowledge base. No. For every single question you ask, it goes out and actively searches the live web right then and there. Then, it uses a powerful language model to read those search results and write a summary for you on the spot. And this is where we kind of have to shift our thinking. The best way to think about Perplexity isn't as just another search engine or another chatbot. The best analogy is to think of it as your own personal research assistant. Its whole job is to do the grunt work of research for you. This analogy just nails it. Google is like the library. It'll show you where all the books are, but you're the one who has to read them. ChatGPT is like that super smart friend who can explain anything, but they haven't read a newspaper in a couple of years. Perplexity? That's the research assistant who goes to the library for you, reads all the latest material, and comes back with a perfect, cited summary. Okay, that all sounds great in theory, but how does this assistant actually pull it off? Let's take a quick look under the hood at the simple but really powerful process that happens every time you ask a question. It really comes down to this elegant three-step dance. Step 1, search. It takes your question and immediately turns it into a live web search to find current articles. Step 2, synthesize. A language model reads through those top results and writes one single coherent answer. And Step 3, this is the absolute game changer, cite. It gives you numbered footnotes for everything it says, linking you directly back to the original sources. And that combination is really the secret sauce. The live search means you're never getting stale, outdated info. The citations solve that black box problem of other AIs, you know? You can actually trust and verify what it's telling you. And it means there's no such thing as a knowledge cutoff date. So this is the main takeaway. Perplexity basically gives you the best of both worlds. As you can see here, it has access to today's information, just like Google does. But it also gives you that synthesized, easy-to-read answer you'd want from a tool like ChatGPT. It completely bridges that gap. Okay, so we know what it is, we know how it works, but just like a hammer or a screwdriver, it's the perfect tool for some jobs and not so great for others. So let's talk about when you should reach for Perplexity and maybe when you shouldn't. You're going to want to use Perplexity anytime your goal is to get a reliable, up-to-date answer with proof. It's fantastic for researching current events, fact-checking something you saw online, doing a deep dive for a school paper, or just getting a quick, sourced summary of a breaking news story. Basically, whenever sources matter. Now, on the flip side, it's not really your go-to for creative stuff. If you need to brainstorm ideas for a story, write a song, get some tricky coding help, or just have a casual chat, other models like ChatGPT are way better for that. Think of Perplexity as a research tool, not a creative partner. And this table just lays it all out so clearly. Look at those key features: current info,
Citations, synthesis. Google gives you current info, but no synthesis. ChatGPT and Claude give you synthesis, but the info is old and citations are spotty at best. Perplexity is the only one on this list that confidently checks all three boxes. It's in a league of its own as a dedicated research tool.
So it's really no surprise who loves it the most. You've got researchers, students, and journalists making up the huge majority of its users. And that makes perfect sense, right? These are people whose entire jobs depend on getting accurate, verifiable, and current information. Perplexity was practically tailor-made for them. All right, for our last section, let's zoom out a bit. The rise of a tool like Perplexity isn't just about a cool new app. It might actually signal a big shift in what we should expect from AI and from the very idea of a search. So if you're gonna walk away with anything from all this, let it be these three things. 1. Perplexity is a search tool first, not a chatbot. 2. It's built to give you the best of both worlds, Google's fresh information with ChatGPT's easy-to-read summaries. And 3, its killer feature, its whole reason for being, is that every answer comes with sources you can actually check.
And all of this leaves us with one last, kind of provocative thought. Perplexity has proven that it is possible for an AI to give you an answer and show its work. So now that we know that's possible, it kind of forces us to ask a new question. In a world where answers can have sources, should we ever settle for one that doesn't?